Benjamin Franklin once said that the only certainties in life are death and taxes. He probably didn't have 21st century America in mind. But who are we kidding? Taxes are still a thing. Every year we see a chunk of our hard-earned money disappear into the government's coffers. But what if there was another way? What if we could, hypothetically, press a giant reset button on the entire tax system? Well, hold on to your hats, folks, because that's exactly what we're about to explore. Enter Donald J. Trump, the businessman turned politician known for his bold pronouncements and even bolder economic policies. President Trump has thrown a curveball, a 10% tariff on practically everything coming into the US. That's right, from Chinese electronics to Mexican avocados, it's all getting hit with a 10% price hike. Trump's rationale? He wants to incentivize American companies to produce goods domestically, creating jobs and boosting the US economy. He argues that for too long, America has been on the losing end of trade deals, relying too heavily on foreign imports. But is this tariff tsunami the solution to America's economic woes, or are we in for a world of hurt? The potential impact of a 10% tariff on the US economy is, to put it mildly, a mixed bag. On the one hand, it could theoretically incentivize companies to bring manufacturing back to the US, creating jobs and boosting GDP. However, and this is a big however, tariffs also have the potential to trigger a trade war, with other countries retaliating with their own tariffs on US goods. This could lead to higher prices for consumers, reduced demand for US exports, and ultimately, a slowdown in economic growth. It's a delicate balancing act, and only time will tell whether the potential benefits of Trump's tariff plan outweigh the risks. Section 4, the price we pay, tariffs and your wallet. Let's get down to brass tacks. How will this 10% tariff actually affect you, the average American consumer? In a word, prices. Remember that new iPhone you've been eyeing? Yeah, it's about to get more expensive. Those jeans you love? Yep, those too. Because tariffs are essentially taxes on imported goods, businesses will likely pass those costs onto consumers in the form of higher prices. This means that everything from groceries to electronics could become more expensive, putting a strain on household budgets, especially for low and middle income families. So, while the goal of tariffs might be to boost American manufacturing, the reality is that it's the American consumer who might end up footing the bill. can help us make more informed decisions about our financial futures. Section 6, Income Tax Abolished, Dreams and Nightmares. Here's a thought experiment for you. What if, and just hear me out, we abolished income tax altogether and relied solely on tariffs to fund the government? Imagine waking up one day to find that your paycheck is no longer subject to income tax deductions. All the money you earn is yours to keep. Sounds like a dream come true, right? But let's delve deeper into this scenario. Sounds crazy, right? Well, it's not as far-fetched as you might think. In fact, some economists and policymakers have proposed similar ideas in the past. They argue that by eliminating income tax, we could simplify the tax code, making it easier for everyone to understand and comply with. No more complicated forms, no more tax season stress, just straightforward, transparent taxation. Proponents of this idea argue that it would simplify the tax code, boost economic growth by putting more money in people's pockets, and reduce the government's ability to interfere in the economy. With more disposable income, people could spend more on goods and services, driving demand, and potentially leading to job creation and higher wages. Businesses, too, would benefit from lower administrative costs and a more predictable tax environment. Sounds pretty good, right? But wait, there's a catch. While the idea of no income tax is appealing, we need to consider how the government would make up for the lost revenue. Tariffs, which are taxes on imported goods, would likely become the primary source of government funding. This shift could have significant implications for both consumers and businesses. Remember those higher prices we talked about? Yeah, they'd become the new normal. Tariffs on imported goods would likely lead to higher prices for a wide range of products, from electronics to clothing to food. Consumers would feel the pinch, especially those who rely on imported goods for their daily needs. The cost of living could rise, potentially offsetting any gains from the elimination of income tax. And as we've established, tariffs disproportionately affect low and middle income earners, potentially exacerbating income inequality. Wealthier individuals might be able to absorb the higher costs, but those with tighter budgets could struggle. The gap between the rich and the poor could widen, leading to increased social and economic tensions. So while the idea of abolishing income tax might sound appealing at first glance, the potential consequences are complex and far-reaching. It's a classic case of be careful what you wish for. The dream of a simpler, more efficient tax system could quickly turn into a nightmare of higher prices and greater inequality. As with any major policy change, it's crucial to weigh the pros and cons carefully and consider the broader impact on society. Section 7. The Fed's Balancing Act, Inflation and Interest Rates. Now let's throw another player into the mix, the Federal Reserve, or, as it's affectionately known, the Fed. The Fed is a central banking system that plays a crucial role in the United States economy. Its primary objectives are to manage inflation, regulate interest rates, and ensure financial stability. The decisions made by the Fed can have far-reaching consequences, affecting everything from the cost of borrowing money to the prices of everyday goods and services. The Fed is like the economy's personal trainer, tasked with keeping inflation in check and ensuring the smooth functioning of the financial system. Just as a personal trainer monitors a client's progress and adjusts their workout plan accordingly, the Fed keeps a close eye on economic indicators and makes policy adjustments to maintain a healthy economy. This involves a careful analysis of various data points, including employment rates, consumer spending, and global economic trends. But with tariffs threatening to push up prices, the Fed's job just got a whole lot harder. Tariffs can lead to higher costs for imported goods, which in turn can drive up prices for consumers. This creates additional pressure on the Fed to manage inflation effectively. The challenge is to balance these external factors while still achieving their primary goals of price stability and maximum employment. See, when prices rise, the Fed typically raises interest rates to cool down the economy and prevent inflation from spiraling out of control. Higher interest rates make borrowing more expensive, which can reduce consumer spending and business investment. This in turn can help to slow down the economy and bring inflation back to a manageable level. However, this approach is not without its risks. However, raising interest rates can also stifle economic growth, putting the Fed in a bit of a pickle. When interest rates are high, it can become more difficult for businesses to expand and for consumers to make large purchases, such as homes and cars. This can lead to slower economic growth and potentially even a recession if not managed carefully. The Fed must weigh these potential outcomes when making decisions about interest rates. It's a delicate balancing act, and the Fed's decisions in the coming months and years will have a significant impact on the U.S. economy. The Fed's ability to navigate these challenges will be crucial in determining the overall health and stability of the economy. As we move forward, it will be important to keep a close watch on the Fed's actions and their effects on inflation, interest rates, and economic growth. The stakes are high, and the outcomes will shape the financial landscape for years to come.